Right then, settle down, get yourself a drink, and let me tell you a story. It is about flags. Yes, bloody flags. The things we hang from our windows when the football is on. You would not think they could land you in hot water, would you? However, I am telling you, they can. One simple piece of cloth, and you could find yourself in a right pickle. A pickle that smells distinctly of a Thai prison cell. It is a story about a simple misunderstanding that could have turned into a proper international incident. Blimey, if there is one thing you can count on in Britain, it is a bit of barmy patriotism when the big match is on. The World Cup, the Euros, streets just covered in red and white, houses, cars, even the dog gets a little St George's Cross collar. There was a chap 2 streets over from me when I lived in London, Mick his name is, and every time England are playing he would get out this gigantic flag, looks like it was made from the side of a blimp, and drapes it over the front of his entire house. It was a proper monstrosity, blocks out the sun for the poor sods across the road, but no one bats an eyelid. It was just Mick being Mick. You see, that is the thing about our country. When it comes to flags, we are pretty chilled out bunch. There is no big complicated law that says right then you cannot put the foreign flag up. It is mostly just planning regulations. The rules are essentially, is it a gigantic eyesore and is it going to fall on someone's head? If the answer to both is no, then crack on. You want to hang a Spanish flag for your holiday home? Go for it. A German flag for the UEFA Champions League final? Knock yourself out. A big old stars and stripes for your mate from the States? Absolutely fine. As long as it does not become a public nuisance, the authorities just turn a blind eye. The official word is you can fly any country's national flag without consent. Think about that for a second. We are so free with our flag flying that the government has to issue guidance on how to avoid getting into trouble with the council, not the coppers. It is all very British, is it not? All very civilised and frankly a bit relaxed. So that is the world I live in. A world where a flag is just a bit of harmless fun, a way to show you are supporting your team or celebrating your mate's heritage. A world where the most serious thing that can happen is your neighbour complaining about your oversized flagpole. It is a comfortable, easy-going state of affairs, and it is what I have known my whole life. Right then, here is where the story takes a turn. A few years back, me and a mate, let us call him Dave because that is his name. We were on holiday in Thailand. Absolutely beautiful place, I will give you that. The food, the people, the weather, all top notch. However, there is something different about the place, something you noticed almost immediately. The Thai flag. It is everywhere. What's more, I mean everywhere. On top of every building, on every lamp post, at the entrance to every town. Besides, they are always in perfect condition, always fluttering respectfully. It is not just a decoration. It is a symbol of the nation, of the king, of their way of life. They treat it with a reverence that, frankly, we have mostly forgotten. Dave, bless his cotton socks, had packed a little Union Jack. You know the type, the sort of thing you would stick on your rucksack to let everyone know you are a proper Brit abroad. We are sat there one evening having a well-earned Singer beer, and he pours it out. Right, he says with a triumphant grin, I'm going to hang this little beauty outside our balcony tomorrow. Proper bit of home, eh? I looked at him, and then I looked at the impeccably clean, perfectly folded Thai flag on the flagpole in front of our hotel, and a little bell went off in my head. I had a feeling something was not quite right, and I could not put my finger on it. Therefore, I did what any slightly grumpy, paranoid Englishman would do. I went and asked the hotel manager. A lovely fellow, spoke perfect English. Just out of curiosity, I said, my friend's got a small Union Jack. Would it be all right if he put it out on the balcony? The manager's smile did not drop, but his eyes got a bit wider. "Ah, couldn't Peter," he said, using my name with a respectful nod. "I would strongly advise against that, very strongly." I pressed him on it. "Why? Back home, we just put them up whenever we like." To top it off, this, my friends, is where I almost dropped my bloody beer. He explained it. Here in Thailand, it is illegal to fly a foreign flag in a public place. It is the law, the Flag Act of 1979. My jaw just about hit the floor. The Flag Act of 1979. A proper official piece of legislation just for flags. Not a planning regulation, not a suggestion. A law, a criminal offence. He went on to explain that there are a handful of exceptions for embassies and official state visits, but an ordinary tourist like Dave, it was a definite no-go. The penalty, up to a year in prison, or a hefty fine, or both. A whole bloody year in the Thai jail for a piece of cloth. My mind reeled. I imagined Dave grinning from ear to ear, carefully pinning his Union Jack to our balcony railing, a local policeman walking past, and then all hell breaking loose. The thought was so absurd it was almost comical, but the manager's serious tone left no doubt that it was very, very real. I went back to Dave, looking at him with a new profound sense of dread. "Mate," I said, "put that thing away right now. You're not putting that flag out ever." Dave looked at me as if I had gone mad. "Why? It's just a flag." "Because," I said, leaning in, "conspicuously in this country, it is not. It is a proper bloody criminal offence. You could go to jail for that." The look on his face was a picture. All the bravado drained away, replaced with a pale, horrific expression. The little Union Jack was crumpled and stuffed back into his bag, and we never saw it again for the rest of the trip. The lesson had been learned. So, what is the moral of this ridiculous story? It is not about which country is right or wrong. It is about understanding that different places have different rules, and those rules are often rooted in culture and history that is a world away from your own. In the UK, our flags are a bit of fun, a show of support. They are part of our relaxed, slightly messy culture. The laws are about being a good neighbour and not causing a nuisance. In Thailand, the flag is a sacred symbol of the nation, the monarchy, and their national identity. The law is not about being tidy, it is about being deep ingrained respect. To them, flying a foreign flag in public without permission would be seen as a grave act of disrespect and affront to their sovereignty. It is a completely different mindset, a matter of honour, not just planning. The whole experience was a proper eye-opener. It made me realise just how much we take for granted back home in the UK. The freedom to be a bit silly, to be a bit over the top with our flags, to not have to worry about a bit of bunting landing you in jail. It is a freedom we do not even think about until you stumble upon a place where it does not exist. Therefore, the next time you see a house absolutely plastered in flags, have a bit of a chuckle, but also spare a thought of those of us who have learned a very expensive, very unpleasant lesson abroad. That is the end of my story, for now anyway. The flag is still in Dave's bag, I'm sure. I have told him to sell it on the eBay, cheaper than a solicitor. Therefore, I strongly recommend anyone to learn the laws and rules of any country before visiting, to be on the safe side and not to be banged up abroad for making a silly mistake. Take care and goodbye.